right, so today we are talking about point slope form, and I'm going to write this down for you really quick. So point slope form is another form that 8th graders are kind of responsible for knowing. I'm going to write it down really quick. I really like point slope form. It's pretty self-explanatory once you get the hang of it. So here's point slope form, and you need to write this at the top of your paper. There's like a little piece at the very top you can write it at. Y minus y1 equals m, which what does m stand for? Nope. Slope. That's why it's called point slope. M, and then you'd have x minus x1. We've kind of already talked about this a little bit, but we're going to get more in depth into it today and tomorrow. Remember, we're kind of map test prepping today, well, until map test starts. So everything I'm telling you and all the bell work that we're doing is all going to be helpful for map testing. Yeah. Well, math is the very end, so I think it is in May. We have all of April, and then it starts in May. And I think math is like May 10th through the 14th, maybe. So it's pretty close to the end of school, okay? So here we go. We are going to talk about point slope form. The first page, they give you a point and they give you the slope. So like I said, remember, you need to put the point slope formula on your paper somewhere. If you don't have it, then you're going to be forced to go back and try to remember it every single time. So there is point slope form, okay? On the front page is a little more simple than the back page. The front page, they give you a point and they give you a slope. What you're going to do on every single point, and this isn't like, I'm not asking you to do it. This is like you should do this. Every point, what comes first, X or Y? So this is going to be X1, and this is going to be Y1. Everybody needs to put those labels underneath that point. I have done math for a long time. I've done the same thing every single year when I teach 8th grade, and I still have to label it or I get confused. So this is your first time doing it. Make sure you're labeling it. I don't want you to get confused. Okay? And what I mean by that is every single one on this paper, you can label X1, Y1, X1, Y1. It's the same thing every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and just start labeling like the first 4 that we're going to do together. All of them have an X and a Y. You put the little ones by it because that means it's your first point. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plug things into the equation that we just wrote down at the top of our paper. What you're going to notice is you have a Y and then you have a Y1. We are not filling anything in for Y or for X. Regular Y and regular X stay exactly the way they are. Tanner, put your Chromebook up. Regular Y, regular X, you just leave Y and X. So to start off on the first one, I'm going to start with a Y. Like I just said, you do not plug anything in for the regular Y. I'm going to put a minus sign because it asks you to put a minus sign in the equation, and then it asks you to write down what Y1 is. Well, the labels help me. That's why I labeled them. Y1 is -3. A lot of people think since I already put a negative sign, I don't have to put the -3, but you do have to put both. The next thing it asks us for in our equation is an equal sign, so I wrote an equal sign. And then it asks for m. On this side, it just tells you what m is. In this case, it says m is -1, so instead of writing m, we're going to replace it with -1. I'm going to write my parentheses. Your X stays an X. It does not get a number in its place, but you're going to put a minus sign, and then you'll put X1, which in this case on number 1 is 4. So I'll say X minus 4. This is now in point slope form, but there's one thing that needs to be simplified. When you have 2 negatives like this, I have Y minus -3. That is the same thing as what? Make a positive. So this is the same thing as saying Y plus 3. We change those 2 negatives to a positive. Oh, I messed up. I need to erase. Hold on. Equals -1 times X minus 4. That's all you have to do, and then you're going to circle it. We just want to put these in point slope form today. So if you ever have double negatives like that, like we had y minus -3, you need to change that to a plus sign, and then that's all you have to do to simplify. So we're going to do number 2, same exact situation. Your x and your y, your normal x and normal y, just stay x and y. So it asks us to start with y and then a minus sign. Then it asks us to write y1. Well, we labeled y1, it's -6, so I'm going to put -6 next. Then it asks for an equal sign, and then it wants m. It tells you what m is right here. It says m is 2, so we're going to write 2. And then x minus, and x1 is -5. So we have everything in where it's supposed to be, and now we are going to simplify it if we can. I see 2 different double negatives. Y minus -6 is the same thing as y plus 6. The 2 stays the same. And then in the parentheses, I have x minus -5. That's actually going to turn into x plus 5. And now it is in point slope form. And I'm going to circle it because that's my answer. So really, the only simplifying you have to do is check to see if you have double negatives. If you do, fix it, and you're done. We're going to do 3 and 4 together. So I know some of you guys know exactly what's going on, which is awesome, but we are going to do 3 and 4 together as well. So start with y. You always are going to put a minus sign after your y because that's what our equation told us to do. It's y minus y1. Then I look for what number is y1. In this case, it's just a 2. My slope, in this case, is a 3. It says m is 3, so I replace m with the 3. And then x minus, and now I'm looking for x1, which is -7. I have to check to see if there are any double negatives. I do see a double negative. Y minus 2 equals 3, and then it would be x plus 7 in the parentheses. All my double negatives are gone, so I can circle it, and that is my answer. Last one we're going to do on this side together is number 4. So I'm going to start with y minus. I'm looking for y1. We labeled y1 with a 5. Y minus 5 equals your slope, -2. And then x minus x1. In this case, it is a 3. Do you have any double negatives in this one at all? No. If you don't have double negatives, you don't have to do anything. You just circle it. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I'm going to ask you guys to finish the front side of the worksheet. I'm going to give you, how many more are there? 6 problems. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to finish the front side, and then we'll talk about them.